Hello, welcome back to another episode of Dear Work Wives. Hello, work wifey.
Hello,
Emily.
work wifey. Long time no record. I think I'd rather just address the obvious. Yes. We did
Yes,
two
we're
in a
wearing the
row.
same outfits as last week.
It's because we're just recorded 2 episodes in a row, guys. It's how
It's how we get things done around here.
it's how we have to get things done around here sometimes, okay?
Mhm.
So
It's because we got behind and then you guys were getting episodes like the day before. Like we were recording them the day before.
And then I have
that's not
vacation
good.
week coming up.
It's not good for us.
Mhm.
Like we need to be a little more ahead of the game, you know?
Yeah.
So now we're trying to get ahead.
We got this. Anyway.
We got to figure out what we're going to do for holidays. Like, are we going to get ahead? Are we going to pause? What do the wifeys want us to do? I mean, they'll be taking a break from work. So do they need a break from work?
Thinking about work, you know?
Yeah.
It might be, we'll have to decide. It might not be the worst idea. I know everyone says consistency in a podcast, but then maybe we start season 2 in January.
Right.
You know? You can just take
or
a
maybe
moment.
There are people, you know, let's not forget the people that do work through the holidays.
Like, I think it's most people, honestly, work through the holidays. You know, I think we live in luxury and get to take so much time. James works every day of the holiday except for Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and New Year's Day.
Ugh.
Luckily, Christmas falls this year on Christmas, and Boxing Day is also a stat holiday in Canada, like the 26th. Luckily, those fall on Monday, Tuesday. So he gets Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off before Christmas. And then
he usually has Fridays off, right? So does he get...
So usually he does, but he doesn't, because in order to accommodate all the closures, they have to work their Friday. Like, because he works on like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, off admin days Friday. But like leading up to that, he'll have to go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday will be Monday. So he'll have to go back to all the places he was on Monday on the Friday and act as if it's Monday.
Okay, you know? So he doesn't really get Monday and Tuesday off because they're just swapping it for Friday.
This is what I say every time there's a stat holiday where we get like a Monday off, he just works Tuesday to Friday instead of Monday to Thursday. So I'm like,
so you're not getting a day off. Like that doesn't even count.
You know what I mean? But it is nice to have a 4-day chunk of time off. You know, I think next year Christmas is going to be in the middle of the week, and that's going to be annoying, you know?
Yeah, because he'll have like one day and then a day off or whatever.
And again, the first is a Monday, so he'll have Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. So, but anyway,
but not Friday.
But no, not Friday. No, he'll have to work Friday because Christmas is Monday, Tuesday, and then he'll have to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And he's like not allowed to take vacation at that time of year. It's blackout.
It's like, I can't tell which is worse. Like, I guess because it's the holiday, like you want to be off on the holiday, but I'm like, just leave it the way it was. Like, just give me my Friday off then. Like, it's literally the same thing.
I know. I think with like, for certain people, I don't think it matters, but like, obviously it's so nice having, when he used to work retail, so he had to work Christmas Eve and Boxing Day, so he only ever got Christmas Day off. And that sucked for sure, because there's so many like fun, but there's so much to do, like so many people to see, that it's nice to have all the extra time. And his sister's birthday is December 22nd, and this year we actually get to see them because of how all the things fall off. So
so we'll be more positive than I was being.
I'm here with you. I'm reading, because you know, at Clockwork,
if there's time to digest. This is my first time understanding this. You've had years to cope.
I find the silver lining, but like at Clockwork, if there's a holiday on a Monday, like we don't work Fridays either. We're just also closed Monday, so then we get a 3-day work week.
Like, because there's a holiday, you have to work Friday now.
No, it's like short week, you know.
Yeah.
So trust me, I get reminded on the daily that I work in a fantasy world. Like,
he's like, Emily, not everyone works like that. Like,
like it would be great if everyone did. Don't get me wrong, this is what we're striving for, but it's not the reality. And for a lot of industries, it could never be, you know?
Right.
And there are a bajillion people who do not celebrate these holidays, so they don't care about having the 25th off, you know?
Correct.
They want other holidays off that they don't get automatic access to, which is irritating.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yes, I do. We live in a capitalistic Christian world.
Exactly. You know, like give Hanukkah off,
Yeah.
Ramadan, Eid, Kwanzaa, you know, without these kids
Mhm.
falling behind in school and stuff like that.
I just want to tell you a little tidbit about Kwanzaa that I take Kit to the library every few weeks now. Like it's just
It's
like
good
something we started
because books are
doing.
expensive. So
And yeah. And I was like, why haven't I taken her to the library sooner? She usually like I'll let her pick out like 5 books
yeah,
and she's always like drawn to the holiday books. Like she has picked out
she's
multiple like books about Hanukkah and like
Diwali.
dreidels.
Nice.
And this time she picked out one about Kwanzaa and we were at about Kwanzaa. And like she doesn't even know what it is, but she's just drawn to them. And then when I tell her what she's like, yeah, that's the one I want. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
great.
Perfect.
So it's just been like such a nice little way to introduce her to other holidays,
Religions,
religions, celebrations,
cultures. Yeah.
cultures, because I didn't really even know the background of Kwanzaa, but this book talks about like it's a fairly new
Yeah.
cultural holiday, like 1960s that it came into um that
Being
they
celebrated.
started it. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is really interesting. And it like I want to celebrate Kwanzaa. Like it actually has like very good like values and
Yeah.
celebratory like coming together community. But I was like, I'm so proud of her for like maybe she doesn't even know obviously what she's picking out, but her interest in other cultures. Like she's not bored by the book; she likes them. And then she always is like, I want to read the Kwanzaa book or I want to read the dreidel book. I'm like, okay,
I love
so,
that.
I know,
That's great.
yeah. I mean, they're not being forced upon her. She's
No.
just picking them out.
But like maybe it's also okay if they are being forced on her. It's like, okay, if we're going to read about
Yeah.
Christmas for 6 weeks, as we do in my house, we're also going to read about every other holiday that's celebrated around this time. You know?
It was kind of nice. Which is like nice on the library because they're obviously putting those books in like
out.
a
Yeah.
visible way for her because then she picks
Yeah.
them from like the little stands or whatever. But
our libraries are really good about that, putting out all the different cultures and celebrations and like at Halloween, I'm pretty sure there was some books about
like Dia de los Muertes.
Yes.
Or
Yeah. So
have you ever seen the movie Coco?
of course.
Okay, so Dia de los Muertes and like it's called the Afrenza, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Where they like put the pictures and super cool.
Super cool. I love it.
You want to play another game?
Yeah, of course I do. Always. It's like always yes.
Okay. 2 options for today's game.
Okay.
Workplace laws or worst jobs.
Worst jobs.
Okay. We'll save the other one for another day for those of you who are like, I want to play workplace laws. All right. So I have a list of the 30 worst jobs in the world. Can you guess any that are in the top?
Sanitation worker. Retail. Wow.
This one of them is close to home for you.
Chef? Cook?
No. A family member.
Delivery? Driver?
No.
I don't know. You got to tell me. I'm not doing a good job today.
Trucker.
Oh, yes. That was my dad. And I can attest to it being the absolute worst.
It's number 3
job. For sure.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I say this is my opinion as someone who grew up with a parent who was a truck driver and then also witnessed like how terrible it was for his health. I would absolutely put it like number 1 on that list.
Yeah. Number 1 is telemarketer.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know why that didn't come to mind first. That's
terrible.
Soul crushing.
Have you ever had a telemarketing job?
No, but I had to do cold sales calls, which is kind of the same thing at a previous job. And it was horrific.
I got hired for like a telemarketing job. I was in like a rough place in life and like I just needed a job. And I think I lasted like 1 hour.
I honestly could not. Like, I have never in my life had a conversation with a telemarketer. I just hang up on them immediately.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
Oh my gosh, that's so bad. Okay, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 2 is a cleaner.
I think that that's subjective. There are people who love to clean.
It says cleaners are often mistreated in the workplace and often end up doing horrendous tasks. Unfortunately, many in-house cleaners are also taken advantage of by their bosses and are not given fair wages.
Yeah, I could see that.
To get in on this job, you need to have thick skin and be comfortable to say no when needed.
I guess I was thinking of like people who start their own like house cleaning businesses because they like to clean.
Yeah.
But you're right. People who are hired to clean at like large buildings. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, number 4, soldier, military personnel.
Mm-hmm. No comment from my end, but yeah.
Yep. Social workers.
Ooh, yeah. That'd be emotionally draining.
Customer service advisors.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They probably constantly get berated.
Yep.
Coal miners.
Oh, yeah. Have we not seen Dope Sick?
Yeah, it says miners are known to have a considerably short life expectancy as they work in incredibly dusty and toxic environments. They're also at great risk of a gas explosion or a tunnel collapsing.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Honestly, I think we just need to move on to a new energy source, please.
Number 8, slaughterhouse worker.
Yeah. Nope.
I couldn't.
No. The amount of times we're driving down the highway and we see like a truck of like pigs driving by and the kids are like, oh, and Lila's starting to figure out like, oh, animals equal meat on our plate. She's not a huge meat eater anyway, but like I roasted a chicken for dinner last weekend and she looked at the raw chicken as I was putting it in and she could see like a chicken in her head and she was like, I can never eat that. I'm like, fair. I get it. A whole animal is difficult to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says killing animals for a living can be extremely depressing. In fact, slaughterhouse workers have been linked to numerous mental health problems.
Yeah.
They're filthy, dirty places. Okay, I'm not reading the rest because it's disgusting. Yeah. So, no. Promotional mascots.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm sure they get a lot of abuse and
yeah, it's like this picture of someone dressed up as a bald eagle.
Yeah.
In like a furry suit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It says whether it's dressing as a pair of testicles in the name of testicular cancer awareness or promoting a new fried chicken restaurant in a giant chicken costume, you're bound to attract attention, usually ridicule and bullying.
Yeah, absolutely. People suck.
Number 10 is traffic warden.
What's that?
It says, I think it's like people who give out parking tickets.
Oh, yeah, because everyone hates you.
Yeah, that's why. Strongly hated amongst the general public.
Yeah.
Involve a lot of abuse and shouting.
Yeah.
You get verbal abuse all the time, says one traffic warden, but I never take it personally.
Yeah. That would be a tough one for sure.
Yeah, how would you? I wouldn't be able to do that. I need to be liked, so it would.
Yeah, no, I could never.
It would not work.
And I would just feel, I'm like, oh, 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, or if the car had been there for a long time, I'd be like, well, maybe they had an emergency. And like, I just couldn't, you know?
Yeah. Oh my God. I have to share with you the next 5. Okay. And then we'll move on. But these are disgusting. So number 11, pet food taster.
No.
Like what?
Yeah.
It comes with the risk of severe food poisoning.
How is this a job?
I don't know. It says this job involves eating really bad batches of animal products and comes with the risk of severe food poisoning. To be successful in this role, you will need a highly developed palate and the presence of mind not to swallow anything but your pride.
Ew.
So I guess they just chew it and then
I'm
spit it out.
I'm like literally gagging thinking about this right now. Next.
Portable toilet cleaner. So like porta potties.
Yeah. It's a truck usually, but yeah.
It's a truck, but it says using a tank and a vacuum wand, cleaners must suck up all the waste in a portable toilet. Tyler said that he used to have to do this like when he worked at the state park. He would have to like clean the and he would just like take a hose and just open the door and just the portable toilet, like the porta potty cleaner people, they take home on average $51,000 a year.
It's not enough.
It's not the worst paying jobs, but it's still not.
It's not enough.
A lot for me to clean it every day. Okay, number 13 is a roadkill collector.
My English teacher
Someone's got to do
used
it,
to
right?
do this. She's my English teacher. I remember her sharing she used to do this like in university. So it was a really hard job. Yeah.
Yikes. Okay, this one, I can't believe that this is a legitimate job, but number 14 is animal masturbator.
What? Pardon?
Yeah.
Who's doing this job?
This is a legitimate job. There are times when semen needs to be collected from an animal for fertilization or for a study. This is where the animal masturbator comes in. Their role is to extract sperm from the animal, either manually or with an electric stimulator.
I could see this on like a ranch, you know? Because you got to impregnate the cows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay.
Manually?
No, there's got to be technology for that. Like I get scientifically,
or with an electric stimulator. Yeah. But some of them have to do it manually.
Oh God,
that's like the worst one.
Definitely marking this episode as explicit.
Okay, and number 15 was sewer cleaner.
Yeah.
Oh, number 16 is crime scene cleaner.
Oh yeah,
these are rough.
Those are rough jobs for sure. Okay, well I'll stick with my job. I'll remind myself all these other jobs exist if I ever am having a bad day.
Whenever you're like having a bad day, I'm like, I'll be like, would you rather be cleaning up a crime scene or masturbating a cow?
Like, if you don't put a smile on your face, I'm going to make you masturbate a cow. This episode is getting flagged for sure.
Probably going to get taken down or something.
Spotify, it's a real job, okay? Don't take this down.
That's discrimination. If someone does that for a living, so have some respect.
Yeah.
What would you do if like that was your job and like you're at like a holiday party for your spouse's, workplace, and they're like, "Oh, what do you do?"
I work in animal science.
Okay. Doing what specifically?
Reproduction.
Okay.
I feel like I can spin it,
I would love to get into that, actually.
I love animals.
Yeah, I love animals.
The animals
My daughter's
love me
really
too.
into animals. I would love for her to talk to you and learn more.
Okay. So send her to me when she's 18.
Yeah. Gross. All right, let's do some stories because yeah. We got to get off the topic.
That topic, I know.
We got to get out of here. Okay. How do you not react? So this is more of like a general question, but how do you not react and get defensive when someone critiques your hard work? How do you just swallow it?
When you find out, tell me.
I think it's hard anytime you're getting
camera
feedback.
Off.
Yeah, camera off. Because if you have a face that shows that you're upset, I think like context matters too. Like if they're giving you feedback and it's true, so like whenever I'm getting feedback like that and it burns, like it hurts, and I'm like, okay, like, and I want to like react.
Yeah,
I'm
curious.
Immediately thinking, you don't know what the F you're talking about, and like, of course, my initial reaction always is to get defensive in my head, like I try not to let that out though, because I know that it's not helpful or healthy or going to go well. So I hold that back, but that is what I'm thinking in my head. And I just say, okay, thank you so much for the feedback. And then I might ask some questions about like context or what they think I could do better. So I'm always like going in trying to be curious. And then I need some time to reflect on my own, because usually when I think about it after a while, like, and I get less emotional about it over like the next, few hours, 24 hours or so, I can recognize that there is some truth in what they're saying. But at first I'm just immediately defensive, and then but but I think I've gone through it enough that I know to just like keep my mouth shut initially because I am too emotional. So just like, okay, like that's fair, or like asking for more feedback or asking for it in a different way potentially, if you're like, could you give this to me in writing, or could you explain more like what you're looking for? You know, I think that it's okay to ask for feedback more
Digestible.
productively if it wasn't given productively the first time.
Yeah.
But if there's some truth to it, I think it is your responsibility to like sit with it and decide how you're going to implement it and do better, and know that typically these people don't have like a personal vendetta against you, but they are trying to either help themselves in their roles or help the company as a whole, or
client
help you
experience,
to
or
do better.
yeah,
Yeah, client experience or whatever.
yeah. I have there's definitely certain situations where I have communicated to the team like I have a face that can't hide anything. So my preference is generally to get information that is big. I don't know another way to describe it. Like, so if there's an opportunity to like shoot me a Loom video saying, okay, here's the feedback I want to discuss on our call. So I can watch some of the feedback or process an idea or process things on my own first, because my first reaction, like it is hard for me to hide things on my face. I think I have gotten better. But if there's ever an opportunity for me to process things first, because I personally need to process all the negative emotions I'm experiencing about feeling like I screwed this whole thing up, you know? I need to process that before I can hear the feedback the way it's intended for me to hear it. Again, that's not always possible, so it is on me to, you know, to learn to control my face, or to be able to work through those. But wherever possible, people do, you know, they do give me feedback in a way that I can digest it privately. Or also like just communicating, hey, just give me a minute to like I'm irritated right now, but I'm irritated with myself because it's not perfect. Right? It's not perfect the first time. I'm annoyed about that. So give me a second,
I'm
and
not
then
annoyed
I'm
with
with
you.
you.
I'm annoyed with myself, but that also requires that you're seeing some truth in whatever they're saying.
Right. But that's me. Like your default is like, you know what you're talking about. My default is, this person knows exactly what they're talking about, and I did it all wrong.
Interesting. Yeah.
You know, like, why didn't I think to do it that way? Why didn't I see that first before I submitted it? You know?
Yeah.
So,
and my default is like, I'm the best. So how did they not see that?
yeah. How do they even
How
have
dare
feedback?
they?
Yeah. And mine is like, how dare I
Yeah.
not have been perfect? So I think that's the difference, you know?
Yikes.
Knowing that about yourself, I think, is the first step to being able to react outwardly the way that you want, because there have definitely been times where I've had reactions that are not the way that I want the team to have seen me react to something, because the feelings are true because they have literally exploded out of my body. They're not feelings that I need other people to see. They're feelings I need to process privately so I can get to like something productive, you know?
Right.
And it's on me to manage that. It's not fair for the team to have to just brace for impact every single time, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't think I do that anymore, but there's definitely, I don't do it often. I'm sure I have, and I'm sure I will again, but.
And I think it also matters, like, is it constructive feedback? Like sometimes I am offered constructive feedback and I still get like initially defensive because I always want to like be right. I always want to be the best. Like,
yeah,
I think Emily and I have like different initial reactions, but the goal is always the same. Like I wanted to be the best and I'm triggered because I wasn't, but I don't want to admit that yet, you know? And you want to be the best, but you're immediately like, I wasn't.
Yeah.
So now I'm
embarrassed.
upset with myself.
Yeah.
So sometimes, like when it is constructive feedback for a purpose, that is, you know, we just shared how we would respond. There are other times when people, and I don't usually take it personally beyond that initial like,
okay,
burned reaction.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, this person is obviously
logical.
There's something valuable here to gain. But I've also gotten feedback, typically not from team members, but from just like
colleagues,
customers, or people in our community or social media, like the world at large, that is just like,
this is so dumb.
It's just not relevant. It's
Remember
just not,
when,
and I try to like not let it phase me, but sometimes it does.
Remember when someone sent
like,
you a DM from a brand shoot that you look like a stripper?
Like a porn star.
Yeah.
But guess what I was wearing in that
full
brand photo shoot?
Blazer, right?
Like covered from head to toe. Like I was wearing pants and a long sleeve shirt.
Yeah.
But I looked like a porn star because it was like more
thematic,
theatrical, what we were going for. It was like thematic. And I was wearing like
captain
like theme. Right. So like my pants were like a little more sailor. I had like a long sleeve, like literally boat neck shirt. Like there's not 1 ounce of skin showing.
But you had full
it was like
glam and you're gorgeous and stunning. Like, so
yeah. I looked beautiful, but
I died.
He was like, I just want you to know. And they tried to give it to me from a place of like, I just want you to know because like we're friends, like that this photo shoot, like you really do look like a porn star. And I'm like, what?
You can keep that opinion to yourself.
Yeah, like that is the type of feedback that I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I'm not taking that to heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not changing. It's not constructive by any stretch of the They didn't even explain why they thought I looked like a porn star. So now I'm just left to my own imagination of like, does this person do role play and I am a sailor? Like what?
Like, I don't even understand. Here to chart the course.
Like, what type of porn is this person watching? I don't know.
This episode is getting planned.
I love Capital it. E explicit.
Capital E explicit. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the type of feedback that I'm like,
I don't care.
Okay, bye. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And then I try not to ever think about it again, you know?
Yeah. I just laugh.
Yeah.
Have the day you deserve. So have the day you deserve. Have the reaction you deserve. Like just roll my eyes. Like, okay, thanks. Like
and like sometimes people give us that feedback like for our business, like they'll, send an email to our inbox telling us what they think we should do and why they think we should do it this way instead of the way we're doing it. And it's like, that might feel constructive to them. They might think that they're doing us a service.
Yeah.
They might think they're being positive and helpful, but they also don't understand like the intricacies or the back end of what we're doing or why we've made the decisions that we've made. And so a lot of those I try to just like let roll off my back too and not take, like I do always think like, okay, is there truth here? Like what is their experience?
Yeah.
But if it doesn't make sense for us, then it doesn't make sense for us. And I try not to think about it again, you know?
I saw.
Because I can really let those things ruin my life.
Yeah. I'm getting a lot of like career TikTok-y videos, and there's been a few that are like it's like asking someone, are you trying to be helpful or harmful right now?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And that just helps them to stop and reflect. And if their genuine reaction is like, I was really trying to be helpful. I'm so sorry if it could have been confused with harmful. Like then it opens a dialogue for how can we do these interactions better?
Yeah.
But if they're really trying to be
responding
hurtful,
like that on emails or social media when like keyboard cowboys are like, yeah.
Good time.
Is it supposed to be helpful or harmful?
Yeah. User 653217.
Definitely harmful if you're user 56271, you know? All right.
Next.
How to address interview questions about leaving a job due to a toxic environment. So I'm looking to leave my current role ASAP, even though I've only been with the company for 8 months. I have an interview at a company tomorrow morning that I previously turned down, but now I would like to join. I don't want to say anything too derogatory about my current company, but I want to be able to justify leaving in less than a year. And this person shares some of the reasons why they want to like leave. They have toxic coworkers who bullied and harassed them, or their parent company has filed for bankruptcy. The brand new CEO is inexperienced and being influenced by board members to make decisions based on finances. I expect to be laid off anyway by the end of the year. My manager may also leave. My job duties have not actually been what I expected or was promised in the interview. The job has been terrible for my mental health.
Just say it's not a cultural fit.
Yeah, it's like all these details are going to put you in a worse light. So I would say none of these details are necessary. Like none of these reasons why should be shared in the interview.
No. I honestly feel like in this day and age, saying this, it wasn't a cultural fit is the corporate way of saying it was a terrible place to work. And people understand what you're trying to say and they understand you're just trying to be diplomatic about saying it's a terrible place to work, you know?
Yeah, like it wasn't a cultural fit or like our values were not aligned.
That's a good one
I think those are two ways to express that like culturally it was just not a good place for you versus like you coming off disgruntled.
Spilling the tea.
Yeah, which is like not how you want to start that process with a new company because all they're thinking is what are they going to say about us? You know, like if you're just like gossiping.
Yeah.
So I just think keep it simple, right?
Yeah. And if they do question why you haven't been there that long, I don't think that people do really these days, but you know, you can say like values not aligned, cultural fit, and I am, you know, really looking to grow in a place and like I'm looking for a long-term fit with opportunities for advancement, and I just knew that was not the place for me.
Right.
So you're really like hyping yourself up. Done.
All right, last story for today.
Amazing.
How independent were you during your first job? So I think this is also a fun question for ourselves. But they said, I have very minimal supervision and am required to figure out tasks all by myself. Most of the time, I feel lost. I wish I had more mentorship. My boss is not happy with my timeliness on projects, but is too self-absorbed to help me. This is my first job, so looking for advice.
Okay, so
I'm curious for you, like, how independent were you at your first job? Like, what was your first job, and did you have mentorship?
I mean, like my first career job, job. Okay,
first career job.
I had a ton of mentorship. I was like literally an apprentice, so I was constantly being like in that role, and it was incredible. Honestly, it was one of the best like mentorship opportunities I'd had at the time with my first real career boss. I will say, like, because my first jobs were in culinary, specifically baking, not so much on the like being a line cook, like on the bear, like I was in the bakery. There's an incredible like mentorship vibe to that whole industry because so many of these techniques and recipes are like hundreds of years old. Like we're like, you know what I mean? It's like there's so much history in that industry, so there's so much that's like passed down, like leader, like mentor to mentee. And so I had a lot of incredible, and I was, you know, given a lot of opportunity to be creative and learn and grow, and also being like, these are the boundaries you can play within. Like, this is what's going to work, and this is what works for this industry. So I will say I was very lucky in that regard. But it's a different type of career than like a corporate one.
Yeah, my first like job was an environmental educator. So I was like out teaching a lot of the time, and I feel like I had pretty good mentorship. Like I got to shadow people at first and then co-teach and then teach on my own. And I could ask people questions and had mentorship. I still felt like when I was first starting to teach on my own, I felt like I was like super nervous and being thrown to the wolves, but it was just the natural progression of like, you got to get out there on your own eventually. And I could always like ask for help. So I do feel like I was mentored in a sense. And then when I had my first like corporate like desk job, there was certain projects and things that I did have like a lot of mentorship and support around. I knew I could always like go to my manager if I had questions. And then there were some projects that I took on that were kind of like no one knew what was going on or no one had tackled them yet. So it was like, you got to figure them out yourself. And I remember when one of my early like reviews, the feedback was I need to like improve on being able to deal with ambiguity. Like dealing with ambiguity was like the thing I needed to work on. And that was probably because when you're working with someone who's like giving you the answers and giving you a lot of guidance, you don't have to deal with a lot of ambiguity. And then when you're working on projects that have a lot of ambiguity, it's really new and can be nerve-wracking and cause you to kind of like regress and not want to put yourself out there or take risks that are going to be required when you're dealing with ambiguity. So I think I was encouraged to work on that in my corporate role, but I definitely had like mentorship and not a lot of like not necessarily like micromanaged supervision, but I had people that I could go to. So for this person, like I don't think I was very quote unquote independent initially. I think there was a phase of getting support and training and then learning to be independent, which I think would be I wouldn't say expected, because we all know that like a lot of people don't do great training and then expect people to have these really, you know, incredible results, even though you never taught them anything or how you wanted things done. So, but I think it should be the standard of like, so I don't think you're in the wrong for feeling like, why am I not getting more mentorship? Like, so I would be asking for it and communicating that like, you don't maybe know what you're doing and you need more mentorship. So how can you get that from either this person or someone else?
And like be specific in what your mentorship needs are, because it's such a like vague term that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And there are people out there in the world who are like professional mentors, and they meet, you know, they have mentees, they meet with them, and, you know, they have a system and a process down, and, you know,
that's my goal. I just decided that's my life goal.
That's your goal? To be a mentor?
A professional mentor.
Check, done.
Where I'm so rich that all I do is like mentor other people on how to be successful.
So you want to be a shark on Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Okay. Done. I said dragon on Dragon's Den because that's the Canadian version, which is where it started.
It's the Canadian Shark Tank. Yeah,
we
Dragon's Den.
Own it. Something started here for once.
I mean, you gotta admit, like, Shark Tank is a better title, though.
No, Dragon's Den is a better title.
Really?
Yeah, Shark Tank? No.
Dragons aren't even real.
Neither's money, so it's fine.
Do dragons live in a den?
Yeah.
Like what is the premise here?
Like,
what am I visualizing?
Okay, so we just talked about, have you not read The Hobbit? So like Smaug, the dragon, who's like hoarding all the money, and they're like sneaking in, trying to like take some riches from the dragon.
Oh, is that where we're getting the analogy?
Like, I think that's what I picture. It's like the dragon's in their den with like all the riches, and you're trying to get something from the dragon.
Okay. Now I like Dragon's Den better because I don't know where Shark Tank comes from.
See, because to me, like Shark Tank is like you're surrounded by danger.
Surrounded by sharks. Yeah.
And like I know like business shark, I get that, like they're ruthless and whatever, but if I'm in a Shark Tank, like that shark's not helping me. Shark has nothing to offer me but death.
I got nothing.
Right? This very deep conversations.
You win.
Okay, thank you. For once.
Because I just think of like the sharks and I'm like, yeah, that's what they are. So it's like feels like but
and I can see like you're in the Shark
Tank. Now
I
understand the Dragon's Den analogy a little better. So
I can see like you're in the Shark Tank, like you're swimming with the shark, like you're in the you're becoming a shark, I guess.
You're in the hot seat. It's like nerve-wracking. There's sharks swimming around you.
And you're like trying to, but yeah, I think I like
trying to survive.
You know, I also got to show my national pride. So
okay, that's all I got today.
Well, we nailed it.
Nailed it.
I have 3 requests. Can people
of me or of the people?
Of the people. Can you please share this episode with a friend? Unless they can't listen to an explicit. Then not this one. Maybe last one, where we talk about our families a little bit more. that, can you, send us, like, follow, review, engage with the podcast in some way, shape, or form. And you can also go to dearworkwives.com to submit your stories. And I would love some stories that you think Adrian and I are not going to agree on.
Some controversy on this podcast, please.
We have only disagreed that one time.
And about Shark's Tank and Dragon's Den.
Yeah, but you came around to my side eventually. So
I'm going to find some things that we disagree on for next week.
I don't know. It's going to be a challenge, I think, because we have pretty similar philosophies, but we'll find some.
I know.
Okay. Those
We're also going to bring some co-hosts soon that maybe they will disagree with us.
Yeah, we do need to
do that soon.
Okay.
Or what was the third request? Was that it?
Share with a friend, engage. Oh, like or share, or follow. I guess that was kind of like a two-parter of the same one.
Okay. And then submit some controversial questions or stories.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, friends. Well, we'll see you next Tuesday then.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.